Hi everyone, and a very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Madhulika Rajrahan, mother, author, green energy enthusiast, and a certified Lean Six Sigma black belt expert. In today's episode, we will talk about how to design products to create a peak experience and explore what we really mean when we say peak experience. So, a product designed to satisfy everyone is not enough to create a memorable experience. The concept of peak experience highlights the importance of designing specifically for a target audience. The term peak experience usually describes the best part of an experience, something like the butter chicken was to die for in relation to a meal, or I was completely blown away by the reunion scene, as might occur in a film. Peak experience is used to distinguish between designs that are just good enough for everyone as opposed to a design that is adorned by its intended audience, bringing in a universal appeal to the product. When we talk about peak experience, it doesn't mean like the most fantastic experience that everybody has had in their lives. What it means that each of us have different things that we consider it as the best thing for that moment, from the best food to the best film. What we are going to do is to imagine that you've got a group of children who are coming for a play date. Now, that is going to vary a little bit from country to country. You can fill in the equivalent things for yourself, but I'm going to talk a little about what might be in India. So, I've got children coming to play, and so perhaps what I do is give them cream biscuits. Now, you may or may not like cream biscuits, but you will get odd child who really dislikes it. But on the whole, most children are happy with cream biscuits or layered cookies, if you would like to say. It works for them. But then, afterwards, if you give them 10 bucks each and you go to a local sweet shop, and for the time being, let's forget about our teeth and what makes us fat for the ease of understanding the concept. We are going to give them sweets this time. Do they all buy the same thing? Well, of course not. They'll buy something different. The layered biscuit was good enough for everybody. It probably wasn't any child's favorite food, but it was good enough. For most of them, it wasn't the worst thing either. But imagine the chocolate bar that is okay for every kid. Maybe the thing you buy to take in the car next time is a share pack. But if you give a child 10 bucks each, they will each choose a chocolate bar which is their absolute favorite. The one that is good enough, nobody buys. And that's what is true for children is also true perhaps for a wedding reception. You'll choose a food if it's everybody is going to have the same thing or maybe two choices. So you don't choose the most interesting or exciting food. You often choose something that's a bit okay with everybody because then you know that everybody will be happy with it. And if it's not the best thing, even if it's not the best thing for them. If you're designing for everybody, you end up with something that is perhaps the second best for each one of them. Sometimes you're designing for that's good enough for everybody. Like if you're getting an office product that everybody in the office has to use. However, sometimes, particularly when an individual's using it, you need the thing that they want, not the thing everybody's happy with. So, a cream cookie design that is good enough design is when others choose for us, and it's choosing for a lot of people at the same time. When we do have to share it, that's the sensible thing to do. But when we have to choose something for ourselves, then it has to be the best. So think about a game design. When you're designing a game, a good enough game is good for no one. So in certain sort of web series, services, in certain sort of entertainment projects, when you want is that thing that some people are going to absolutely love it and be excited about it and actually don't care if there are other people that hate it so long as enough people think that it's the best thing. This is crucially important because if you design for that average when individuals are choosing, you would always perhaps go wrong. It changes the strategy for choice. If you think about the sort of quality of experience of different users, the good enough product has to sort of be okay for everyone. But if you have to go for a peak product one that some people really like, those people will like it a lot better than the average product, even if everybody else thinks it's worse. And if there are sufficient people of these peak products, one of them will always beat your good enough product. It's a different design strategy for sure. So, for traditional interface design, for the kind of interface design which is about average products, then when you're looking, you can look at the user profile. What's a typical user? What's the range of users? You might go for a central persona or the person who gives you a sort of average feel for the group. So you are after something that's average or typical. Your methods of doing this are going to be more process driven, more heuristic. You're going to go from need to a solution, and then needs, wants to be one that a lot of people have. When you're designing for a peak experience, you do this differently. You're after individual users, niches, sometimes extreme personas that capture some small part of the market. But what you want to do is capture that part of the market really, really well. You might go for specific or eclectic designs rather than sort of average ones. You're often after ideas and inspirations rather than methods and processes. And often, too, you start off with the concept, the idea, the fact some of the most successful products were originally designed for just one person, for one purpose, and sometimes just for a single user who wasn't them, sometimes even for themselves. So, the opposite of what's going against the logic when looking at design, and because of that, they are excellent for that person and therefore a win for that group, when otherwise would be a result in a failure. So, the question arises, when do we look for peak performance? It is when there is an individual choice, when users' experience is central, and when you can think of this as a long tail phenomena, as in you want many applications for a small group as opposed to a single application that works for everybody. And when that's the case, this is when you're trying to design this way for peak experience. Thus, if I were to conclude, I would say the term peak experience to distinguish between designs that are acceptable versus loved. We believe that each person has their own peak experience, which would be their favorite food or film. Good enough designs or cream cookie designs are products that are designed for everybody and are just okay for most people. However, peak designs or chocolate bar designs are products that an individual wants for themselves and not necessarily what everyone else wants. When we design for individuals, we would focus on creating peak designs, not good enough designs. This is important to remember that good enough designs are good for no one, and peak designs are the ones that people will eventually and absolutely love. With this, we come to an end to this edition of All Things Lean. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment in the comment section on what you'd like to hear more. With this is your host, Madhulika Rajahan, signing off. Have a wonderful day ahead.